Ayan. Good afternoon, everyone. It's actually 4 p.m. here in London, and welcome to COVID Warriors Corner, which is a Facebook group tribute to the frontliners. And of course, good evening, and I think it's morning, nighttime, or midnight in the Philippines. Hello to my family in the Philippines are actually sleeping now. Unfortunately, they sleep early. So hello to my dad, Ela Hidalgo, of course, my brothers, Delay and Delon, my sister-in-law, Emmeline, my niece and nephews, Diva Divo, and Dale, and of course, my sister in South Korea. Hope you're all well. And of course, guys, please do keep safe. We're still fighting against this invisible enemy. So do your part. Be a frontliner yourself as well. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. And of course, you have to do social distancing. And I always say, I believe that prayer is one weapon, or it's the best weapon to fight this COVID-19. And of course, guys, we have special guests this afternoon. We are paying tribute to the OFW, or the Overseas Filipino Workers, most especially to our nannies, because one of our guests paid tribute to her nanny, which is a Filipina, and she actually wrote a book. But before anything else, before we discuss about that, I would like to shout out to all our friends and who are watching right now on Facebook. We have Kuya Fres. Hi, Kuya Fres. So I don't know if who's watching right now. But anyway, guys, if you want to comment, please do put your name at the end of your comment, because sometimes we don't see it. It's just saying like Facebook user. Hi, Ma'am Cathy Gonzaga ba yan? Si Cathy Gonzaga. Anyway, I'm gonna speak English and Tagalog today because we have, of course, a special guest today, so that she can understand as well. And of course, yeah, that's what I said. And ayan. So thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. And as you all know, guys, Philippines is a country that actually exports, of course, Filipino workers abroad. Sila yung tayong may pinakamalaking workers na pumupunta sa ibang abroad. Actually, it's 2019, according to the statistics, it's 2.2 million Filipinos they went abroad to work, and I think it was 56% of them are Filipina or women, and 44% are, of course, male. So ang tanong ko, bakit? Why is it that Filipino women, there are more Filipino women going abroad than Filipino men? So I don't know. I have been asking that question even before. Bakit mas maraming mga Filipino women na nag-a-abroad kaysa sa mga Filipino? So ayan, yan ang isang tanong ko. Pakisagot ninyo, guys. Ano kaya ang puro-puro ninyo ang palagay ninyo kung bakit mas maraming mga Filipino women kaysa sa Filipino men? And of course, guys, mamimigay din po kami ng mga prizes later, of course, courtesy of our guests. So of course, Rodrigo will be giving mobile loads. Filipino viewers, pay attention sa mga interview natin, kasi mamimigay po si Rodrigo, isang guest natin, ng load sa Philippines. And of course, we have our other guest, of course, she's giving away a copy of her book. So please stay tuned, listen to the interview para manalo kayo ng prize. And sabi ko, Happy Valentine's to Ma'am Ella. Yeah, I'm wearing a red for Valentine's Day because I'm not having a show on Valentine's Day because I have an appointment. I have a date with a consultant specialist. Anyway, I'm going to sing a song for everyone, guys. This is actually a song dedicated to all mommies out there, to all mommies who work abroad. This is a song about a daughter who received a letter from her mom who is working abroad. So I hope this song, you will like it. And guys, please do comment if you can hear me clearly. So this song is for all the mommies out there. Mama, she wrote me a letter saying she's gonna be fine. Please take good care of your sister. I'll be home in 3 years' time. Mama, it seems like forever since I was 5. They say you were a good teacher in the same school where I came to life. Eyes are red in London. To believe that she's mine. She could be lonely in London. I want to know where she had to go. I need her. I want to be with her. And we'll be together once English teacher, she told me she wants to be where you are. Mama, she's leaving her family to learn all the money she wants. London, Vancouver, Hong Kong, housekeeper on earth. What is to happen to all of those children with mothers who travel so far? Boys are made in London. I want to believe that she's mine. She could be lonely in London. I want to know what she had to know. I need her. I want to be. I want to be with her. Yes, so that song is dedicated to every mama out there, and I understand like there are children out there in the Philippines asking why. Why, Mama? Why did you leave me? So we're gonna tell you later on. Why did she leave her daughter behind in the Philippines? And she had to work in. I think she started working in Abu Dhabi and then in London. Anyway, guys, of course, thank you so much for supporting COVID Warriors Corner. We've been 10 months now since the pandemic started. And of course, we are raising funds, guys, for our various initiative and charity works. And as a way of raising funds, we're selling these mugs. And of course, we have this t-shirt. So actually, we have a hoodie as well. We have a hoodie. I forgot to download it in here. So we're raising funds, guys, to help out, to support our frontliners, not only here in the UK but also in the Philippines. And you all know, guys, since we started this COVID Warriors Corner, we've been giving support to the frontliners here in UK during the first lockdown. We've been giving away pack lunches and of course groceries from our sponsors. And of course, in the Philippines, we had 5 meal services, which is in collaboration with TV film actress Lovely Rivero. So we've fed the homeless, the frontliners, and the typhoon victims in Marikina. And of course, yung flood flash po na nangyari sa Cagayan. So we've donated, of course, finances, and they bought lights and other commodities that they need to survive. And the relief goods, according to the shipping company that we've sent to, it's on the way. On the way pa lang po yung relief goods natin. So thank you so much to all those donations and supports that you've given us here in COVID Warriors Corps. And of course, thank you so much sa mga bumili na po ng mga merchandise natin. And before anything else, before I introduce the very first guest, there's one lady from Davao City who would like to, of course, dedicate a song to our guests and to everyone who are watching right now. So let's hear it, guys. Let's hear from a beautiful voice of Chloe Palar. Okay, so you can just sing.
Hello po. Good afternoon po sa inyo. I will be singing When You Believe po. Hope you like it, guys. Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. Whoa, yes, there can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will when you believe. Oh, in this time of fear, when prayer so often proves in vain, hope seems like a summer bird too swiftly flown away. Yet now I'm standing here, my heart so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I'd never thought I'd say. No, there can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. No, who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe. Somehow you will when you believe. They don't always happen when you ask, and it's easy to give in to your fears. No, but when you believe, the way, clear through the rain. A small but still resilient voice says hope is every need. Miracle, the hope is real. It's hard, oh, to kill, oh yes. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow, you know, you will when you believe. You will when you believe. Oh, believe. You will when you believe. Thank you so much. Thank you po for Ate Ella for inviting me here in this show po. Thank you so
I'll talk to
much.
you soon, Chloe. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that's Chloe Pilar from Davao. She'll be back later on for a fan talk. And of course, let's go down. I have a lot of like messages in here and comments. Shout out. Please, can you put your name at the end of your comment para naman ma-recognize kayo. And please be sure that you are a member of COVID Warriors Corner to be able to win the giveaways this afternoon. And yes, guys, so our first special guest is, of course, a British photographer based in London. Her focus is on social documentary portraiture and advertising photography. And her work has been published and exhibited worldwide. And of course, she published this book. It's Someone Else's Mother. You can see it, guys. Okay, so she's the author of Someone Else's Mother. And she said in here that as a child, she was looked after by a Filipina woman called Junie, and who lived with Caroline's family in London for 22 years. We're gonna talk about her book. So please, guys, please do buy this book on Amazon. It's actually a very interesting story. Yeah. So let's welcome on the stream, guys, Miss Caroline Irby. Hello, good afternoon to you, Caroline. How are you?
Hi, Ella. Thank you for the singing. You almost had me in tears with your song about the mother returning to see her daughter in the Philippines in 3 years' time. Who wrote that? Can you hear me?
It's actually a wrote by Ryan Cayabyab. It's one of a famous composer in the Philippines.
It's beautiful.
I don't know. Am I chappy to you or you're chappy? Because it seems like you're chappy.
Yeah, you're choppy to me as well.
Or maybe it's just the internet connection. Yeah, but by the way, how are you, Caroline? How are you coping during this pandemic?
Well, I'm not sure where all of your viewers are, how many are in the UK and how many are in other parts of the world. So I may be stating the obvious, but in London, we're in lockdown. It feels like we've been in it for a very long time. And I have 2 children who are 8 and 10 years old. So we're in the world of homeschooling right now. And I am with them Monday to Thursday, and my husband's home Friday on the weekend. So then I'm able to work outside of the house. I was shooting this morning, but in general, I'm looking after my children, and the days blend into one. But at least we're safe, we're in the home, we have space. Things could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it's really you're chappy. I don't know why. I think there's something wrong with our internet connections right now, but hopefully the viewers, I don't know if you can hear us clearly. But anyway, you're a photojournalist. So how did pandemic affect your job as a photojournalist?
Oh, well, it affects it hugely because
Hello.
a lot of my work usually is international and I'm not able to travel at the moment. And oh, well, it affects it hugely because
Hello.
now a lot of my work usually is international and I'm not able to travel at the moment. And oh, well, it affects it hugely because
Hello.
now a lot of my work is international and I'm not able to travel at the moment. And Ella, I'm just hearing the same thing again and again. I'm hearing something I said a minute ago.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the I think there's something wrong with the internet. I'm just trying to work it out.
Maybe I'll try doing it on my telephone. If it affects it huge, click the link on my phone to connect that way.
Okay, just try it again.
Said a minute ago.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the I think there's something.
I'm going to enter via
Hello.
try entering via my phone now and see if that works better.
Yeah. Okay, you're Tina.
Got two of me.
That's it. I don't know if you.
So I'm going to get rid of my iPad. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah. I think that's better.
Sorry, I'm just going to turn off the sound device. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think that's better.
Ella, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, I do. I can hear you. How about me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. It sounds like a woodpecker.
Hello?
I can just hear.
Yeah. Can you hear me? It's still the same.
Ella, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, I do. I can hear you.
I'm going to try
Hello?
joining again.
Okay. Yes, guys. So we're just waiting for our guest to join. I think there's something wrong with the internet as well here. So while waiting for Caroline, I'm just gonna flash. Oh, I think she's here. Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
I can't hear you at all.
Can. How about me? Can you hear me?
Can any of your viewers send you a message letting you know whether they can hear you or not? Because I can only hear like a rattling.
Guys, can you let us know if you can hear me? Hello.
I can hear you now, actually. Sorry, Ella, you've now
Okay.
come back to me.
All right, that's good. So yes. So my next question is actually you mentioned about your kids. So how did you educate your kids about this pandemic? Because they're not no longer going to school, or are they still going to school physically?
No, my children have not been at school since
They're
early
online.
December. They're online at home with me. I've been teaching them about the pandemic through conversation, and they watch the news and we read the news. But to be honest, I think, they've been living it for the last 11 months. And in the span of a child's life, 11 months is a really long time. So it's become normal to them. I feel like they've almost forgotten. They don't expect life to be like it was before. Every day we do exactly the same thing. They just do their schoolwork and then we go to the park, and they never ask to do anything else. But they don't really reflect on the pandemic because it's just normal. They're more interested in other things happening in the world, like Marcus Rashford and free school dinners and Greta Thunberg and the US president. They're interested in those things. But I think it's, for children right now, the pandemic is normal. but they're very, on autopilot. They come back home and they wash their hands and they keep clean, and they it's difficult to make them keep their distance from people when we go to the park. That's one thing that they've not got good at, is respecting other people's space. They still kind of are bombarding all over the place. But I will be very happy for them and for all children when they can be free to see their families and friends again. It's such a strange period where they spend so little time with other children.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I mean, there's some. I saw some videos like children wanting to go to the seaside, and they were like forcing their crying, or forcing their mom or their dad. They want to go outside, or but that it's so difficult right now because of this pandemic that's going on. I mean, the virus that's going on right now, especially the new strain, which is the transmission is quicker than the original one.
Yes, exactly.
So
So we're being super careful.
and of course you.
Sorry, Ella, it's frozen for me again.
I think our difference. That's it.
Can you say
That's
that
okay.
again? I
And then
missed it.
you work as a photographer. And where did you get your passion, or when did you start having this passion of going on photography?
I was 13 and my father, he gave me his old manual Olympus camera, and was I just fell in love with it from the start. I loved how it gave me permission to look at people and to go to places that I wouldn't normally go to, and to really look hard. I loved the kind of magic of being in the dark room when I was a teenager. It was a quiet space, and I was at a boarding school, and there were not many places where you could have your own space, but the dark room was one of them. I loved it, and then when I was 18, I did some work experience at a photo agency called Magnum, which is an agency was set up in Paris. It's an agency of photojournalists, and I was sort of meeting my heroes, and that really cemented my desire to be a photojournalist once I finished university.
Just slow your up. I don't know. I don't know why it's my internet is too slow at the moment. Okay, there's like a delay of your answer. But anyway, yeah, you've been working for a long time as a photographer. I think you've been over places in the world, photographing people and of course events. So, do you have did you photograph any famous or well-known people in the world? Who was the most, or who's the most famous people that that you photographed already?
Oh, well, I spent a week in Cambodia with David Beckham for UNICEF, and with Keira Knightley in Chad for UNICEF, and Ewan McGregor in Peru, and in Malawi, and I've photographed lots of actors in London, like Nicole Kidman and Benedict Cumberbatch, Kate Blanchett, James McAvoy. I spent a week with Gugu and Martha Raw in Uganda, and yeah, lots of crazy people. I mean, they're not crazy, but it's the situations that I meet them in are quite extraordinary. To be in a refugee camp with a superstar, a funny
It's
combination.
amazing. So it's more like you're doing work in with UNICEF, as you said. That's why you've met those people, those famous people.
Some of them, yeah, UNICEF, but also UNHCR, which is the UN's High Commission for Refugees, and then also just various other like photo assignments for magazines, and work for various different organizations has led me to make portraits of or document those people. Yeah. in London and other parts of the world.
Yeah, someone is saying, hello, Madam Caroline, from Ate Marife channel. Yeah, I think that's in YouTube. She's there watching YouTube.
Hello, Ate Marife.
Yeah. So our interview is being shown in three platforms here in COVID Warriors, in my YouTube channel, and of course in my timeline. And you're the author of Someone Else Mother. Is this your first book or your second book?
It's my second book. The first book was called A Child from Everywhere, and it consisted of a portrait and an interview with one child from every country in the world who was born in their native country but now lives in the UK. And it came from a commission from the Guardian newspaper, their magazine, and eventually it then became a book. And it was the fruit of about a year and a half spent traveling from the very north of Scotland to the north of Ireland and Wales and the south of England and everywhere between, looking for these children. I finished that project just before I had my first child in 2010.
How long did you do the project? Like you had to compile those photos, like hundreds of photos.
Sorry, can you say that again?
How long did you work on that project?
That project was about 18 months, including all the research, because I was the one who went and found these people. And that was almost the most interesting part, actually, figuring out how to locate a child from everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, London is an amazingly diverse city, and I could have found almost all of them here, but the brief was to find them all over the UK. So, I went up to the Orkney Isles in Scotland and found a little child who came from Chile, whose father ran a salmon farm, and a boy from Cuba living on the Isle of Wight. And yeah, there are people from everywhere all over the place here, as you know.
Yeah. And how about this someone else mother? Why did you wrote this, or why did you publish this book? What is it all about?
Well, I grew up in London. I was actually born in Hong Kong, and then we moved to London when I was 2 years old. And a Filipino woman called Janine started working for my parents just before I was born, as a mother's help. And when they moved back to London, she came with them. And she then lived with us for the next 22 years. And as a child, I spent at least as much time with her as I did with my own parents, if not more. I was with her every morning before school. I was with her every afternoon. She was the one I was really intimate with. She would do my hair and she would cook, and we'd eat together. And my parents were out a lot most evenings, and I would spend the evenings with her. We'd sit in her bedroom and watch her TV while she was busy saying her rosary or filing her nails. And even on weekends, actually, I would sometimes go with her. She had like weekend jobs cleaning other people's homes, and I would go with her. I found her very comforting to be with. And yeah, when I was a teenager and I was at a Catholic school and had my confirmation, she was my sponsor. And then she retired to the Philippines in 2007, but she came back when I had each of my children to spend time with them. So we're really, really close. And I had always been aware of her family. I always knew she had these 4 children of her own who she'd had to leave in the Philippines. And I didn't know that much about them. I knew in kind of sketchy detail that they had, one was a nurse and one was an engineer, and one had stayed on the island, and one was working in Alaska. But I didn't know a huge amount. And eventually, in about 2005, having spent the last few years mainly on the road and working on a lot of stories about that involved migration and often refugees, I became more and more curious about Janine's backstory, you know, the person who I was so close to and who had this whole other life that I didn't really know that much about. And so I started to interview her every time I was back in London between jobs. And she told me, you know, in detail all about why she had left the Philippines and what her life had been like on her island. She came from an island called Bantayan, which is near Cebu. You know, why she had to leave and what it was like for her returning to the Philippines in general every second year, but sometimes it was longer. And you know, she would go back, and when she first returned, her youngest child didn't recognize her, and her children were very close to their grandmother who was looking after them, and they used to call her Ma, and were then a bit confused about who Janine was returning to the island.
Yeah, that would be very painful for her that you know, her youngest son doesn't recognize her at all as her mom.
Yeah, so painful. And I actually went to her island to start working on this book in 2005. And at that point, I was really interested in the life she'd left behind, and it was quite a nostalgic approach that I had. I was trying to photograph some of the stories what I imagined her life to have been like as a child on this island, working. You know, she was pretty poor, and her father, she was one of many, many children. Her father was a fisherman. She used to help him bring in his haul every morning before school. And she was often late for school because she was busy helping him empty the nets. And the pictures I made were all kind of about the life that had been left. And it wasn't so much focused on her children. Then I had my own children, and I didn't manage to get the book published before I had children, and realized anyway that I hadn't really finished it. So I put the book aside for a long time. I picked it up again in, sort of 15 years later or something. Not 15 years later, what am I talking about? I picked it up again. I put it down in 2008 or something. And then, I picked it up probably about 2018, 2019. And realized now as a mother myself that what was really missing from the story was her own children's perspective on what it had been like for them to live without their mother, and what her return visits had been like for them.
Yeah. And then
So-
when you realized that you know, she's looking after you all those years, and then you realized that she left her own children back home, what did you feel about that?
Well, I always knew. So in a way, it's a bit like I was describing for my own children now in COVID. When something becomes, you know, normal, you don't think about it. So, you know, but it's strange that such an unbearably painful thing could be normal, you know, that someone is living with you and yet they have 4 children of their own who they're not able to see on a regular basis. So, you know, honestly, as a child, you know, whatever you experience, you think is normal. But we were so close, so I think I was quite tuned into her, you know, sadnesses, and you know, I was very aware of the phone calls that would come. Obviously, this is pre-mobile phone era. The phone calls that would come to the house phone in the middle of the night when there was a typhoon. Whenever there was a typhoon passing over her island, you know, her children would then call the next day to say that everything was okay. Oh, it's gone very dark here suddenly, but eventually it dawned on me, you know, eventually I grew up, and I started to be more empathetic and to really think about what it must have been like for this person to not see her children for such long periods of time. And particularly once I became a mother myself, it was, you know, just unimaginable that you would have to leave your own children in order to provide for them, and that there would be no other way. Janine's husband had left her when she was pregnant with her 4th child. So, you know, that she couldn't afford to educate them well without, or even quite well, without leaving them. But yes, it was having my own children that really tuned me in to what on earth it must have been like for her to have had to say goodbye.
And it says here, from Loleng Lirao, she's working as she works with children as well. She said like it's heartbreaking leaving your own child and look after someone else's children. So she said she can relate much.
Yeah,
It
I
says it's a
mean,
big sacrifice.
yeah, I'm sure it is, and I hope that modern technology makes it at least a bit
True,
easier to
yeah.
communicate with the people you've left
Mm,
with. Not, I know it's not the same as being with them by any stretch, but when I was growing up and Janine was going back to her island every second year, there was no telephone on the island until her children were already in their late teens or 20s. So all those years she was only able to communicate via letter, which took 2 weeks to get there. And I asked her children what she used to write to them, and they all told me that she used to just basically say, be good, pray, work hard, make sure you're being sensible, because I'm not there to get you out of trouble. So you've got to
yeah.
take care of yourselves. So yeah, so difficult to have so little contact. But to the last lady who was messaging, the one, and no, there can be no compensation for leaving your own children behind, but the love that that you give to the children you look after is also not wasted. That it is received. It's not that you're giving care and love and time and it goes nowhere. I feel like I wished that Janine's children had her time rather than me, but I also know that I value it so much, and I feel so lucky to have grown up with this amazing woman.
And then you also mentioned that you do everything with her. You even go to with her when she goes every weekend cleaning. Do you think? Can you say that you are closer to Janine compared to your mom or to your dad? Are you closer to Janine?
I don't want to say that, but we were very, very, very close, and it was, the way my mother parented was very different to the way that I parent my own children. And she was from a kind of old English family who, the people didn't really look after their own children in such a hands-on way. So my mother really cared about me, and she's a very kind woman, but she, the one that I was really intimate with was Janine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw photo in here like you're surrounded with Filipino women. And so and then of course that you heard, I mean, you see what they're doing, so you've seen what they're doing. I'm sure they do karaoke as well because Filipinos love karaoke. And then of course the food. So you said like you've been eating. I mean, she's preparing mostly Filipino foods for you to eat when you were when she was looking after you. So what's your favorite Filipino food?
Chicken adobo. I particularly the style that she makes, because I know it's different all over the Philippines, and
Yes, yeah.
and I've tasted some from chicken adobo from other parts of the Philippines, and I like her one the best. It's really sticky and tangy and delicious. And actually, when I went back to finish off this book 2 years ago, and met with her children and interviewed all of them, I took my own children with me, because, well, for lots of reasons. One of them being that Janine is now in her 80s, and I wanted them to see each other again because she's not in very good health. But also because I don't have a full-time nanny or anything to leave them with in London, and my husband's working. So actually that was the easiest way of doing it. They loved the Filipino food, and yeah, rice is the staple in our house.
Okay.
Yeah, There's no potatoes here. There's not much pasta. It's rice all
No
the way.
bread, potatoes.
And eating with my hands as well, whenever possible.
Wow. So did you learn and did you learn to cook any Filipino delicacy as well?
Um, she taught me how to make the most delicious rice cake um, with brown sugar and condensed milk. And I mean, there's nothing healthy in it, and it is so delicious. But she was a character who wanted to do things for other people. So, I mean, now I cook the whole time, all kinds of things for my children. But when I was growing up and with her, she wouldn't let me do much of the cooking. She wanted to be the one. I think she enjoyed, to give pleasure as well,
Yes,
because,
yeah.
she liked caring for me. When I was 11, I went off to boarding school as well. And I know that, she tells me that she was then really lonely because she no longer then had a child to look after. She just had a house instead. So yeah, and I often think of her now when I'm doing something badly. I think about her because she would always sort of take things from me and say, oh well, I'll just do it. She could see that I was not doing something quite perfectly, and I now have a tendency to do that with my children. I really try and stop myself. I need to let them do stuff badly and learn, but it's hard. So yeah, I can't say that I'm a fabulous cook of all Filipino food, but there are definitely large Filipino influences on the day-to-day eating that goes on in our home.
Yeah. And I know I've got friends who works with children, and sometimes they teach they teach Tagalog to them. Did Junie taught any Tagalog words to you?
She always used to call me Inday. Um,
Yeah.
and then I used to listen to her talking to her friends and family on the telephone. And so I learned little bits of language. She was always finishing her phone calls saying, Sigi, Sigi. And when I used to fart, she used to call it an utut. And
Yeah.
that's about it. I mean, I'm sure I probably, actually my favorite term was magli budli bud. I think that's in specific to her.
To wander around
When you
or
go
to
for
go
a little
around.
walk, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I probably used the wrong emphasis, but I love that term. And come estaca and bits and pieces, but yeah, not loads.
Did you inherit any other traits or ways from Junie?
Sorry, did I inherit any?
Yeah, did you acquire any Filipino traits or ways from Junie? Because she's been with you for like 22 years of your life. So did you
Uh,
acquire any?
um, well, because I was with her she was the adult that I spent the most time with. So I'm sure that I acquired many traits from her, but it's difficult for me to know what they are. Um, she she was a very calm and gentle presence, and I think with also a temper, and although I didn't see much of that, and I definitely have all those things. I had a friend of mine who actually went to the island that Janine comes from, Bantayan, without realizing at that stage that was the island that Janine was from. And but she said that she kept seeing all these women who she thought walked like me, or rather I walked like them. I mean, I was very influenced as well by Janine's faith. She was always, in church and on cleaning rosters, and I would often go to church with her, and she was busy saying her rosary. And when I was pregnant with my children, she gave me this little sort of picture of a saint to carry around with me through pregnancy. I was definitely very influenced by her faith. But I mean, I think her influence is everywhere and in everything, in every part of me. And I mean, I've definitely often spent time with Filipino people who've said to me that there's something about me that feels familiar. And it cuts both ways because, the person who I was perhaps most familiar with was from another culture. So,
Yeah. And there's a comment in here says, "You are so lucky, Miss Caroline, to be looked after by a Filipina nanny because she gave you a lot of care and love." So do
You
you believe that you're
did.
lucky?
I feel so lucky, and 22 years she was with my family, and I wish that she had been able to be with her family for those years, but I do feel so lucky to have had one constant source of care. Actually, it wasn't totally constant because Janine remarried an Irish man when I was about 9 or something, and she was gone for about 18 months, and it was not a happy marriage, and she then returned to the UK. But during those 18 months, we had about 4 different au pairs. They each stayed for 4 months or 5 months, or I don't know how long they stayed for, but the turnaround was pretty quick. And if I imagine, if Janine had not been living with us, probably I would have, my family would have got through about 40 au pairs during my childhood, which would have been a lot less, sort of consistent and stabilizing as a backdrop.
And you also mentioned in your book that even your is it your parents have been looked after by a nanny. How about your kids? Do you have any nanny at home, or do you hire any nanny to look after them?
We have help from an amazing woman called Jennifer twice a week. Jennifer is from the Philippines, and she's very cool. She's very funny and very feisty, and she makes me laugh so much. Very strong opinions, and she has a very different story. Her 2 sons are here, but actually they weren't here when she first started working for us. They were still in Manila, and they arrived in the UK in January, just over 2 years ago, which was such a joy. And I actually have a recording of her telling me, the first time I saw her after her sons had arrived, she was talking about what it felt like for them to be here, and it was just so wonderful to hear her that I recorded it. And every now and then I listen back to it because it just makes me so happy. Her saying that she cannot believe that this thing that she had hoped for all of her adult life has finally come true. She has her children here with her. She can cook for them. She can sit on the sofa and relax with them. She can take care of them herself. But because my experience in my childhood was that the person I became really intimate with was the person who looked after me, I really wanted to try to look after my own children as much as possible. So it's me looking after them, although I'm very grateful for the time that Jennifer spends with us as well, because she's a great influence. To be honest though, I'm not sure that I could live with knowing that someone was looking after my children and not able to be with their own children. I think that must be, I think I feel too guilty.
Anyway, we have. I think this is from Kelly. She said that she will bring you sticky rice pudding.
Yummy, thank you.
Yeah.
My brother, who's 2 years older than me, he's the one who makes that sticky rice more than me. Also a
Ah.
big fan.
Yeah. And are you still planning to go back to the Philippines?
Yeah,
To visit
definitely.
Philippines?
My children say that it was definitely the most exciting thing they'd ever done. And they talk, my husband didn't come, and they talk about it often with him, and they really want him to come too. I really want to see Janine again. And her children, who I'm really fond of, who are all a few years older than me, and who have been so welcoming to me and forgiving as well. I feel like, if it was my mother who'd gone off to the other side of the world to look after another child, I might really resent that child. Hope I wouldn't, but I might. And they've been so lovely. And when I took them my children to the island, and they spent time with Janine's children, they were in their 40s and 50s. They were so lovely with my kids, and it somehow felt like kind of coming full circle. It felt like a sort of you know, some kind of closure, seeing all of them together. But I definitely, you know, I want to go back and see all of them. And Janine, you know, she's not getting any younger. So, I mean, I'm sure that all of you watching are wondering when you're going to next be able to go to the Philippines. And it must be so difficult for you to not know when the doors will be open again, or when it will be safe to travel.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's not something
At the
I'm
moment,
thinking
they're
about
still
very
closed
actively right
for.
now. Sorry,
Yeah,
say that
at the
again.
moment, they're still closed for non. Philippines is still closed for non-Filipino travelers. I don't know when they're gonna open. Even me, I
Yeah,
cannot go home because I have a British passport, right? So they're not allowing me to enter the
yeah,
Philippines.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you plan to go somewhere else as well aside from Cebu? Or
Sorry, do I?
have you seen any other places in the Philippines aside from Cebu?
Um, I have only been to Manila, and
That's
where Janine's daughter works as a nurse, and I've spent time with her there. But I have not really been to. I mean, I've been to a couple of other islands near in the Cebu region, but nowhere else. And I'd love to. There are so many places that look really incredible. But when I go to the Philippines, it's kind of all about seeing Janine. Although, yeah, next time I go, I would like to make the most of being there and see some of the other beautiful places, and maybe take my children too.
Yeah, I know. Like, I know here, like, there are a lot of Filipinos right now watching. They're so proud and they're so happy that you made the book for a Filipina, Danny. Where can they buy this book?
You can buy it out on Amazon. That will be the cheapest place for you to buy it. But it's on. You can also order it from any bookshop, your local bookshop. It's in Waterstones, Daunt Books. You can buy it from the publisher, which is Schilt. If you just put it into Google, the book will come up, and you'll see different places that you can buy it. And in the Philippines, I don't know. I mean, I know that the distributor, which is Thames and Hudson, is distributing worldwide, but I shipped a big box of these books to Janine's, one of her sons who works on a cruise ship. He was stuck in Manila for a long time waiting for kind of COVID to shift and for him to start work again. And he asked me to send all of the books for Janine and the other siblings to Manila. I sent them there in July, and they're still stuck in customs. Is that normal? Still haven't cleared customs there?
Yeah, I think right now it's really difficult to send packages back to the Philippines because we actually sent the package like December a box until now they haven't received it yet.
I missed that
That's
last bit.
sorry.
I missed that last bit.
Uh, just like me, like I sent the box, like a package back to the
Yeah,
Philippines last November. Until now, they haven't received it yet. So I think
yeah.
there's it's very difficult right now because of the pandemic. But hopefully, maybe you can try to contact the national bookstore as well, and then you can sell your book into
Yeah,
national bookstore. Yeah, in the
yeah,
Philippines.
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a very interesting story. But there's a side thing in here that they need to know why. So they need to buy your book. So, but it's very interesting and it's very beautiful story. So you need to buy, guys. And of course, you're giving away. How many books you're giving away to our viewers right now?
3. I'm gonna
Three
give
books.
3 away
Okay.
to yes, you have to let me know who I'm sending them to, and I will send them.
Yes. So we're gonna. I'm actually like gonna ask questions after our interview. For them to answer. It's based on our interview, of course. So if they can answer are we gonna ask it now so that you'll see who will if
Yeah,
it's they
okay.
yeah we will see if they answered it correctly. Okay, our first question I was gonna change an easy one. What is the title of Caroline's book? Second book that she published. So whoever answers it first will win a copy of the book. This one. So what is the title of this book? Guys, type in now, guys. It should be a correct spelling, okay? This one is not really a correct one. It says someone Elise mother. I think Elise is a name.
Oh, right. It's actually someone else's
It
mother.
says, yeah, but you have to, this one. I think she got this one correct. So you have Loleng Yurao, someone else's mother. Yes. So you want a copy of the book, Loleng. So can you just type in your address? And of course, I'm going to send the address to Caroline. So you'll be the one to send the book to Loleng
Well done,
Yurao.
Loleng.
And of course, and our next question, Chris, you're late. someone answered as well, but I think okay, so our second question is, what is the name of Caroline's nanny? What is the name of Caroline's nanny?
And you don't have to get the spelling right, because the spelling is not
Yes.
obvious.
I think it's the way you said it. It's different.
Aha.
It says Juneng.
Yes, that'll do.
Okay, so Caroline said that will do. Can you just, I don't know who says this. Can you just put your name, please? Actually, someone answered Janine as well. But I think this one is first. Please, you have to be quick. First, the other one. The Juneng one. Yeah, Juneng. So I don't know whose Facebook is this. Can you just let me know your name, please, and your address? Just put it in here, and then I'm going to send it to Caroline. And of course, our last question. Would you like to ask last question? Do you have anything in mind?
Are you asking a question or me?
Would you like to ask our last question for our viewers?
Oh, okay. Which region of the Philippines does Janine come from?
Yeah, do you want the region or the province?
Well, I don't think I only said the name of the island a couple of times, so
Okay,
I'm not
the
sure
island.
I get that. So I know either the island or just the the province.
It says here, I think. Wait. Oh, wait, what's wrong with my? Okay,
There we
we'll leave it
go,
to
Christopher.
Cebu.
You finally got it. You got it first this time.
Yeah, I think the other one won already. That's why So we're gonna give chance to others. So we have Loleng Rirao, the first winner, and we have FELY, second one, and of course Christopher Noel Palace. Please send your addresses so that Caroline will be sending a copy of your book. Yes! Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Caroline. And please do invite them to, do you have any social media that they can follow you? And of course, invite them to buy a copy of your someone else's mother.
Lovely. Thank you, Ella. It was lovely to talk with you and also to hear you sing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Would you like to, do you have any social media as well? Would you like
Oh, sorry.
for
Would
them
I like
to
to
follow
what?
you? Do you have any social media for you to be followed? Or
Oh, yes. Well, my social media. I use Instagram. I don't really use Facebook much. I use Instagram, and my Instagram is at Caroline Irby, which is IRBY. Caroline IRBY.
and then once again invite them to buy your book as well, where they
Oh
can.
yes, and you're very welcome to buy my book if you'd like to know more about the story, which is on Amazon, and you can look up Someone Else's Mother, or you can look in your local bookshop, and I know they're shut at the moment, but you can give them a call and they can order it in for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, and I do hope to meet you in person.
Yeah, likewise, Ella, and I'm going to listen to FELY now.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
So guys, that's Caroline Irby, and congratulations to all the winners. Of course, that's the Instagram of Caroline. And since it's 5 p.m. in here and I think 1 a.m. in the Philippines, I would like to of course our next guest is from the Philippines. She's not actually an OFW, but she's gonna impart or what she feels. She'll gonna answer what she feels about Filipinos going abroad, leaving their family back home. So let's all welcome from Davao City, Miss Chloe Palar. Hello, good
Good
afternoon or good evening in the Philippines. Is
afternoon.
it good morning na dyan sa
Morning in the
Pilipinas?
Philippines. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for waiting for us. So what do you do in the Philippines right now?
Actually, I I still don't have any concrete job. Like, I should be an apprentice in an architectural firm, but there are no hiring. They're not hiring any apprentice yet. So I am a freelance draftsman. So it's the same with apprenticeship, but I don't have any loyal company. And then I am also a live stream singer in sessions, and it is a little bit similar with YouTube Live or Kumu, which is also
Yeah.
well known in the Philippines. Yeah.
How's the situation? Kumusta ang sitwasyon ng pandemic dyan sa Philippines? I can see that Philippines is now starting to open. The malls are opening, the tourist spots are open for tourists already, which is within the Philippines pa lang, di ba?
Uh,
So how is it there in Davao?
um, kakaiba. Ano po, ay, okay lang po if mag-English
Okay
na.
lang, go, go.
Ano, it's different because, uh, like I said, I sing in sessions live, and then I talk to other Filipinos there. Some are from Manila, some are from different regions, and then they said that they can go to the mall. Meanwhile, in Davao City, I think you need to have FM pass. That's free food and medicine pass, and you can only have that uh if you are like the first and the second primary members in a family. And then I don't have a job, and uh you can only have, I think, one pass for every family. So um I'm here at home, and then it's still strict, so from what I see.
Yeah, but what good? I mean, the good things in the Philippines is that you have your live stream that's paid, diba? You are being paid to do the live stream. You are also paid to do. You have the Laika. And I've been hearing those apps Laika, the Kumo. You're paid for doing that. So that's a good one that helps Filipinos out there to earn money while while they're jobless. And
Mm-mm, mm-hmm.
so how is it like? Okay naman yung pag-stream mo.
Yes, very okay po. Nagkaroon po ng opportunities, and you get to meet new people. So new people, new connection. So yun, maganda din siya na ano, na opportunity sa mga bagong artist or aspiring artist. Yeah.
And you graduated as art in architecture, right? But
Yes.
did you have you taken your board exam already, or you're still waiting?
I cannot take the board exam unless I finish the hours in
I
apprenticeship.
see.
Yeah.
So it's like you're still ongoing on your
Yes.
steps as yeah, the architecture one. So we were talking about OFW at the at the moment. So are you planning to go abroad as well to work?
Probably yes. Before, I don't entertain the idea of going abroad because if I go abroad, I'm going to leave my family. Like, from what you discussed with Ma'am Caroline, she, her, uh, Janine, she left her family, and how much more in my situation that I am going to leave everyone, and it's like starting a new life, and I just don't want to go home because to go abroad and then you go back and forth because it's gonna be expensive in your part. And then right now, since it's pandemic, and then I applied to my dream firm, and then I also applied to other firms, and most of them were they were just telling me to uh they will send an email, and then it's been months and nothing is happening. So I also considered to go abroad na lang.
So do you think like because there's no jobs being found in the Philippines, is that the main reason why Filipinos back home they go abroad and leave the Philippines?
Ano po yung ano, yung
I mean, do you think na yung isang reason kung bakit umaalis ang mga Pilipino like me, I came here to London is because I find any job at all in the Philippines.
yes, and also I think it's because this is what we discussed in college. There are so many architects who go abroad because there are better opportunities, and they are not underpaid. Meanwhile, here in the Philippines, the problem is there are so many clients who would prefer civil engineer over an architect because they can save money.
Oh, really? So
Yes.
engineers do everything, even the work of architect, an architect.
Oh, come again po.
I said yung mga engineer ba, they're doing everything na, even the work of an architect. That's why they're hiring engineer.
Yes, but I don't know. I can still see the distinction between the job of an architect and a civil engineer, because an architect, uh they look for they address the problem in your location, in your given location. Meanwhile, in civil engineering, I think they are more concentrated with the structural design, and I think nothing else, like the weight and the load of the building. Meanwhile, in architecture, they provide many alternative materials so that you can save more money. So yeah, that's what I can see from it.
And then, because we've discussed about this nanny went abroad, are you okay of like this? Are you okay of having a mother going abroad and leaving you behind in the Philippines? For
No.
example, your mom left you, or she's gonna tell you like, Chloe, I'm gonna go abroad and work because I need to work for your own future. Are you okay with that?
No, definitely not. If she is going abroad, then I am coming with her too, so that I can see her every day.
Yeah, but sometimes like it's so difficult to bring their children in here, especially like it's so expensive. I mean the living costs here, the living costs here are so expensive. So I don't know, like so ayaw mong payagin nanay mo.
Ah, for me, hindi. Kasi ano, I have classmates who have their parents going to abroad, and then they are left with their grandmother or caretaker or yaya. Then parang makita ko yung parang difference na if andito yung both mama and papa, ano, family oriented ka. Meanwhile, kung kapag abroad naman yung parents mo, parang aloof ka sa relationship ng parents, and kapag kapag uuwi sila dito, you prefer to go with your friends kasi parang awkward na sa parents, kasi iba talaga kapag andito sila sa bahay always, 'di ba?
Anyway, the same as my mom before, like meron siyang opportunity to go abroad, but then she refused it as well because according to her, she wanted na lumaki kami, she wanted us to grow up with her under her guidance. Yun. I
Mm.
mean, iba-iba. There's a lot of like different reasons naman while those mothers went abroad. So, we're gonna ask later on Feli, her comment or kung ano masasabi niya sa sinabi mo about mother going abroad. But anyway, when did you start singing, Chloe?
if talent po, like yung interest talaga at the age of 2 years old, then at the age of 7 or 8, I started to join singing contests na, tapos sunod-sunod na siya.
Ayan, thank you. And of course, papakinggan na natin ang pangalawang song mo. You also prepared the second song for us.
Yes. Yes
Yeah,
po.
so I'll leave you solo on this stream. Let's hear it again, guys, from Chloe Palar of Davao.
Wait po. Okay, okay. Hopefully guys you would enjoy. This is one of my favorite songs, and I hope you guys will jam with me. So here we go.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the internet. I'm just trying to work it out.
I hope you guys will jam with me. I book myself tables at all the best restaurants that need a loan. I buy myself fast cars just so I can drive them real flickin' slow. I like my own company, I don't need it. I'm not always cold, I'm just good on my own, so good on my own. I've always been told one day I'll find somebody who changes my mind. If they come along, I won't think twice, 'cause I already got a good thing with me. Yeah, I already got everything I need. The best days in life are already mine. Don't tell me that you got a good thing with me, 'cause I already got a good thing with me. Yeah, I already done everything I dreamed. I'm good by myself, don't need no one else. Don't tell me that you got a good thing for me, 'cause I already got a good thing. I make myself up just to dance in the mirror when I'm at home. I post and take pictures and send them to people that I don't know. I can make confidence, compliments how I'm feeling. No, I'm not always selfish, just bad at romance. It's not in my bones. I've always been told one day I'll find somebody who changes my mind. If they come along, I won't think twice, 'cause I already got a good thing with me. Yeah, I already got everything I need. The best things in life are already mine. Don't tell me that you got a good thing with me, 'cause I already got a good thing with me. I already done everything I dreamed. I'm good by myself, don't need no one else. Don't tell me that you got a good thing for me, 'cause I already got a good thing. Been told one day I'll find somebody who changes my mind. If they come along, I won't think twice, 'cause I already got a good thing with me. Oh, I already got everything I need. The best things in life are already mine. Don't tell me that you got a good thing for me. Whoa, I already got a good thing with me. Yeah, I already done everything I dreamed. I'm good by myself, don't need no one else. Tell me that you got a good thing for me, 'cause I already got a good thing. Thanks so much po.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Sabi dito, ang galing mo daw. Sabi ni Kuya Rodel, Saikon.
Thank
Ayan.
you
And
po.
may nag-comment actually sa sinabi mo. Sabi ganun, it depends to the parents, even if they work abroad. Maybe if they manage to give time to the family is not really matter. I used to go home yearly and make sure every special occasion for my daughter, I was by her side. Ayan.
Yes. Ano po, in my own opinion lang po yun, pero, if
Yes, you
that's what
have your
mm,
Yeah, we're entitled to our own opinion naman. Para sa'yo,
mm.
ayaw mo yung nanay mo or yung tatay mo na lumayo.
Yes, yes po.
Ayan. And of course, do you have any social media, Chloe, kung sa mga gustong mag-follow sa'yo, sa mga gustong marinig ang magandang boses mo during your stream, what's your social media account?
You can always search my YouTube channel, my Instagram. You can always click my name. It's Chloe Palar. And then there's a free link, guys, na papuntang Sessions Live. So I do my Sessions Live 3 hours. I'm going to have my live next week, Wednesday and Friday. I think around 6 to 9 PM. Di ako sure sa anong time niyan sa UK.
So,
Basta
mga
6 PM.
umaga. Maybe
Mm,
one time, Chloe, we can invite you to perform for an hour here in COVID Warriors Corner. We have this called Performers Corner. We invite performer around the world and we ask them and we request them to perform for 1 hour to entertain our viewers here in COVID Warriors Corner. Hope you can have time for us
okay,
to
thank you
sing.
po.
Yeah.
Do.
And would you like to greet to have a message to the frontliners out there as well?
To all the frontliners. My mother is also a frontliner. So thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. You did everything for us. We stayed home, and hopefully, you guys will be healthy and you will be able to serve the country. And you can also be there for your family. It's really hard, and laban lang talaga. Thank you so much.
And do you have any message to the viewers out there? May mga isa-shout out ka ba?
Proud out for my parents, si mama and si papa, kasi andito sila and pinanood talaga nila. Thank you so much, ma and
Salamat sa
pop.
nagpuyat. Thank you guys sa mga nagpuyat dyan sa Philippines. Please don't go yet. May ipamimigay yung susunod na guest natin na mobile phone loads for Filipino viewers. So manood muna kayo guys. So ayan, thank you so much Chloe Palar. And I do hope that we'll talk about your performance, your 1 hour performance here in COVID Warriors Corner. Thank you sa mami mo for allowing you to be one of my guests tonight, this afternoon. Bye. God bless. Be safe.
Oh,
So that's Chloe Palar of course, from Davao City. And before I introduce our last but not the least guest, I actually asked a friend who works as a nanny for a long time. She's actually now in Dubai with her employers. So I asked her how do you feel or what is your experience as a nanny? So eto po siya ngayon. So panoorin po natin.
Ayan, kaway-kaway sa mga mommies, na mga nannies, pero mabibeauties. Ayan. Napakahirap. Isa sa mga napakahirap naman na trabaho ang pagiging yaya. So, unang-una, yung bakit may iwanan yung sarili mong mga anak, then mag-look after ka ng ibang anak. So, there is always a reason behind, a story behind kung bakit mo gagawin yun. So, para sa akin, yung very first family ko na wala akong ka-experience, walang kaalam-alam, I've been with them for 13 years. So, siguro para sa akin, yung naging pinaka-foundation between me and the family is yung love. Kasi unang-una, first experience ko, malayo ako sa pamilya ko. So, parang yung love ko ba is napunta sa kanila. So, nung nakita nila yun, sila mismo nagsabi, what we can see from you is a priceless. So, sila mismo nagsabi nun. So, parang, ito yung magiging sukli namin. Kasi kahit na priceless ka, ito yung magiging sukli namin sa'yo. So, hindi ko inaasahan yung ganun. Ang alam ko lang, nagtatrabaho ako. Pero nakita pa rin na yun is not just na nagtatrabaho ka sa kanila. Yung love. So, let's say, I look after 5 people, that they look after me and my family. Kaya ako nagtagal siguro sa kanilang ganun katagal. Pero hindi ganun kadali din. Yung, syempre, wala naman ako alam-alam eh. Tsaka, syempre, iba din sila. Pero, siguro, love ako ni Papa God. Kaya, yun, ang unang experience ko. And kahit hindi na ako nagtatrabaho sa kanila, they still giving me something, especially kung birthday ko, Pasko, hindi sila nakakalimot. But then after that, siguro may napakahirap sa akin mag-move on. Yun na yung pinakamahirap sa akin, yung hindi na ako nagtrabaho sa kanila. Napakahirap na sa akin kasi mahirap na ako mag-move on. Parang ang hirap ko maghanap ng family. Although hindi ako nagko-compare, pero meaning ko mahirap na maghanap ng family na parang yung pinakasanayan ko. Alam ko sasabihin ng lahat, 99.99999% ng mga nanay sasabihin na hindi napakadali ang trabaho ito. Totoo. Pero mayroon pong pinagpapala o siniswerte. Siyempre, isa na po ako doon. So, yeah. I just make my video happy kasi unang umiyak ako, bawal. Kasi bawal ang wrinkles, mahal magpo-botox. So, ang nanny para sa akin is love and motherhood. Kasi, yun yun tayo nagtatrabaho dapat nating mahalin kung ano yung trabaho natin. Pinaka-importante. Respeto, tsaka, syempre may dahilan para sa family. Ayan, kaway-kaway sa mga
So ayan guys. So that's Chris. She's in Dubai at the moment. She's working as a nanny. So yun ang naging experience na or naramdaman niya bilang nanny. Working abroad and leaving her family back home, especially her children. And speaking of a mommy na nanny, I'll put my last guest on the stream. That's last but not the least. Guys, makinig kayong mabuti sa mga tanong ko at mga sagot niya kasi doon namin kukunin yung mga questions. Ayan, this time guys, mamimigay siya ng mobile load sa mga taga-Philippines naman. Or maybe, pag-usapan namin, baka pwede naman yung nasa abroad, pero ibibigay pa rin nila sa family nila yung load na nasa Pilipinas. So, siguro pwede yan. As long as guys, member kayo dito sa COVID Warriors Corner. So, kailangan nyo mag-member dito sa COVID Warriors Corner para may chance kayong manalo ng load. Ayan. So, this is our group. So, Facebook group COVID Warriors Corner. Please to join para may chance pa kayong manalo ng load, mobile load. Ayan. So, nakikita ko na sa backstage. Teka, merong shout out. Dixtin Rodel, thank you. Thank you so much. This is from Chloe's mom. Thanks in Rodel. Thank you also to Miss Ela Hidalgo for inviting. Nag-enjoy kami sa program niyo. Salamat po. And please stay tuned for a chance to win mobile load from our guest. Of course, she's based in here in London and she works as a nanny. Let's welcome guys, Miss FELY, Rodrigo. Hello, kumusta?
Hello.
I can see you're wearing our hoodie. Yeah, yan po yung hood. Hindi ko po nalagay kanina, but we're also selling our hoodie shirt.
Supporting your COVID warriors. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, please do buy our hoodie. It's actually we're raising funds for our causes here in COVID Warriors Corner by selling our bag and our hoodies right there. And of course, we have a t-shirt na sa Pilipinas pa. So yan muna yung binibenta namin na pinofocus. Yung mag and then COVID Warriors t-shirt. Thank you so much. Ayan. So, kumusta naman ang buhay ngayong pandemic? Naapektuhan ba did this pandemic affect your life as a nanny?
Actually, yes, a little bit because during the lockdown, some of the work's been cut off. Then some of those work for babysitting. Now all the mommies they're not going out anymore during the lockdown. So yeah, it's quite hard at the moment.
And then where was your first job as a nanny?
First job as a nanny back 1996, I think. I worked early age as nanny actually in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Yes.
So with this photo, is this in Hong Kong?
That's been Dubai.
Dubai. So from Hong Kong, you went to Dubai.
Yes.
And then dito na sa UK.
Yeah, dito na sa London, yeah.
Which is yan si Samsung baby, right?
Yeah. I started when she was only 5 months, yeah.
Wow. So basically parang like Yeah, it's like Caroline. She's been looked after by her nanny when she was born, or like when she was actually they hired Junie for her. Diba? Parang kapanganak pa lang siya, kaya nag-hire sila ng nanny. So parang
Yeah,
sa'yo, Sam Sam grew up with you talaga.
yeah. Actually, I met Sam when she was already in the tummy of her mom. This is mom, because I was working with the other family. Then I met the mom of Sam, and then when Sam's born, I went to work with them.
Mm, I
Yeah.
see. So how old was your daughter when you left her in the Philippines?
When I left April in Philippines, she was only 2 years old, and then I worked to Dubai. That's the one I worked to Dubai already when she was 2 years old.
So for her, of course, she's 2 years old. Wala pa siyang kamuwang-muwang. She's not yet aware that her mom went abroad. But for you as a mom, how was it leaving your 2 years old daughter behind in the
It's quite
Philippines?
hard because it's my first daughter actually, and then but I was lucky also because the first children that I look after in Dubai is just almost the same age with my daughter, so I treat like my own daughter. So, and then I told her at the beginning that I have the same, almost the same year that daughter behind in the Philippines. That's why they let me go home every year, and then every special occasion like graduation or birthday in the Philippines, then they let me go home. So I was lucky actually for that.
So basically, palang regular ka rin na umuwi sa Philippines.
Yes, ever since when I started to work as nanny, when I have already a child, then I told already that I need to go home every year. So
So hindi ka ba nakukonsensya like when you're holding another baby and then you're not looking after your baby at all? Wala ba yung hindi ka ba nakukonsensya doon or parang there's a guilt inside you that
but
you're holding someone
a
else
guilt. There's always
child?
a guilt there. But if the child that you look after, you just treat them like your own child, then it's okay. It's like the gap
Yeah.
that between, then it's like someone already fill the blank, the gap of their relationship. So it's okay because if you treat them like your own, then it's like you look after your own daughter.
So yung opinion kanina ng guest natin, sabi niya for her she doesn't want to allow her mom to go abroad kasi she noticed her friends na parang nung because it's understandable some grew up without their mom or without their dad. Parang stranger sa kanila yung parents nila pag umuwi sila kaya mas nababarkada sila kaysa nagiging malapit sa magulang. So anong masasabi mo doon? Na-experience mo ba yun na nung umuwi ka, hindi ka nakilala ng anak mo?
No, no, actually, I didn't experience that because I used to call naman every time when I finish my work. Even since when she was younger, like maybe 4, 5 years old, we used to talk na in the mobile because there's a mobile already that time. There's no Facebook yet. Then when the Facebook come, Skype or something like that, I used to call them every day. So it's like that's why I said if you work abroad and then you still give your time with your family or your daughter or your son that you live in the Philippines, then the relationship is not like the others because as we know some parents also when they work abroad sometimes they forget, they said they get tired already or they don't have time, they already go to bed and then the time is different. There's always a reason, but if you want to do it you can do it. You have to give time for your family, especially if you have a child in the Philippines, then it's okay. So
Yeah,
that's why every time I go home, the
yeah,
relationship with my daughter, it's fine.
I think yung difference lang ng because of the story, I think you've read the book of Caroline.
Yeah.
Have a copy of the book, right?
I had a copy of the book. Yeah, I read it the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the difference lang between the life of Juning before is and during this era is we are more, as what Caroline said, that we're luckier that we have this
Yeah,
technology. Na meron
exactly.
tayong WhatsApp, we have the Facebook Messenger, we have the Viber, that we can, even the Skype, that we can chat with our family back home
Exactly.
and then looking at them. compared to her, to Janine, they don't, it's just a telegram. Parang it's just, they're just writing letters back and forth without seeing each other on a phone. So parang maswerte tayo. We're actually luckier right now na may
Yeah,
technology tayo. So I think that's the difference kung bakit hindi nagkaroon ng strange feelings yung anak mo sa'yo because of this technology.
exactly. Yes. And of course, yeah, you have to give time to them.
So parang everyday tinatawagan ko siya, kinakamusta.
Yes, yes. And then it's like what I said, you have to go home also like when there's a special occasion, because in Philippines also, if you don't go home, if you work abroad, if your parents in the abroad, and then there's a special occasion in the school like that, then your children, they get bullied, like you said, oh my gosh, why your mom is not coming home, it's your graduation day, something like that. So if the parents make the time for their children, like the special occasion, they have to sacrifice, then it's fine. The children, they have to understand why their parents working in abroad, but they don't understand when the special occasions come, and then you don't go home. Especially some parents, they promise, like you say, okay, I'm going home when your graduation come, I'm going home when your 18th birthday, and then by the times come, they don't go home. Of course, the children, they get upset, and then that's the why they go to Barkada. And then when they go home, they don't like anymore their friends. They said, I'm happy with to go out to my friends because they get bullied already. Sometimes na-brainwash na sila ng barkada. Parang ganun, di ba?
Oo, tama. And then of course, you're looking after someone else, son or child. How does it feel bringing up someone na hindi mo anak?
Well, for me also is different story with the story of others, because my daughters grew up with my mom, and then like I said, I was grew up also like only one child, and then I know that I went been grew up with my mom, so I know that they will look after my daughter like how they look after me, so she's in the good hands. So yeah, it's fine.
And how about looking after someone else? Ibang, may inalagaan. Anong pakiramdam doon? Mahirap ba na mag-alaga ng anak mo?
uh Well, actually, it's not that, like what I said. If you put your love to the children that you look after like your own child, then you will be happy. And then the child also that you look after, they will love you back if you give love to them. So, like the picture that you show it before, the one I look after in Dubai, she was I think I started 3 years old, that one, the first one, and then I left them when they were 6 years ago, and then after 8 years, he found me in the Instagram, and then he said, "Hey, Feli, you are the nanny that you look after me." It's like, oh my gosh, that girl, she was only 6 years old when I left, and then now she just remember me, and then she's talking like, I remember every time you teach me like this, like that. It's like it's like been you know the feeling is you cannot explain. It's like really like you look after your own child, seeing that, oh my gosh, you remember me. Yes, yeah. So
That's good. It's good to have communication with your former alaga, di ba?
yeah, yeah,
Nakakaganda.
it's like Caroline, it's a big uh how do you explain that? It's like a big relief for you when you
Oh, sorry.
message you to say that I remember you. You are the one who look after me.
Yeah, that's great. And since malapit ng birthday mo, di ba? Do you have any birthday wish at all?
Wish, I think I
Yeah.
wish every year, but the wish not come true. Because every year I say I wish I be younger, and then it's not getting. you know.
Ayan. So that's April, right? When she was
Yeah.
born. And then
Yeah.
and now she's with you right now here in UK. So what year did you take April come here in UK?
Sorry.
Anong year siya pumunta? What year did
Uh,
April came here in UK?
I bring her when she was 16, actually, and then
So that was how many years?
What, 2018?
2 years. So how did she manage to adapt? Did she adapt easily or nahirapan siya?
Actually, hindi naman. I think just because what I said, we talk so often by Skype or by Messenger, then I show her around London already. So when she come here, it's okay. It's like very familiar na yung mga places, parang ganon. But the climate, of course, is a big change for her. You know, the first winter when she was here, it's like, oh my gosh, it's something like that. But the surrounding, and then it's fine. And plus the English skills when she going to college, it's okay now because you know when you arrive in UK for first time, even you know how to speak English, sometimes you scare, you don't
Yes,
want to talk. So, but then when she started to study here, then of course now she has more fluent English with the accent of British. It's better than me now, of course. Yeah.
Hello
Ayan.
everyone, April Rodrigo here, the daughter of FELY.
Before, and ayan, napindot ko tuloy. Before we continue, ayan yung message.
Hello everyone, April Rodrigo here, the daughter of FELY Rodrigo, who is a nanny here in London. Growing up without her beside me is pretty much hard. Hard for me and hard for her as well, even though she's not gonna admit it. She only goes home every other 2 years, and that is pretty much long for me to wait. And she missed most of the important events in my life, such as my birthdays, New Year's, Christmas celebrations, and summer holidays. Knowing that my mom is working abroad for me and our family made me realize a lot of things, such as I need to be more independent and to look after myself because she's not with me. That said, I have so much respect for all of the OFWs, Filipino nannies, cleaners all around the world. You sacrifice a lot for your families, you sacrifice your time and moments for them to have a better future and lighter life. So mom, you are amazing. Thank you for all your sacrifices, efforts, and support throughout my life. I appreciate you and love you. And happy birthday!
Advance.
Yes. So, so yan yung mga, so I asked her like, what was your experience growing up without a mom? So ayan yung sinabi niya. So what can you say about that, Penny?
Well, I'm so proud, you know, at least she appreciate all what I've done, and then I'm so happy now she's here with me now. Yeah.
Ayan. And of course, mamimigay ka ng mga load sa Philippines. So magkano ang ipamimigay mo ngayong gabi, ngayong araw na to?
Well, I think usapan 5 question yeah, 500 each.
Yes, yes. So 5 questions. So is it 100 each, which is unlimited?
100 each. Yeah, if they want to go unlimited, like there's a go sakto, I think something with load. O regular, tapos sila na yung mag-unli, ganun.
Ayan, yan guys. Ready na ba guys yung mga, dapat mag-member kayo ng COVID Warriors Corner kasi doon namin titignan yung mga tamang sagot. I-check muna natin kung may mga nagpapa-member kasi minsan hindi na-check ng ibang admin. And of course, shoutout sa mga admins natin, Rodel Saicon, Joker Diva. We have Micaela Atay and of course, Catherine Alberto, Request Corner bukas, and Let's Cook with Micaela Atay bukas din. And of course, Way Ramos. Ayan, so check natin. So okay ka lang ba na, kasi nga, I don't know if how many viewers are watching right now from the Philippines, kung isip pa sila. Siguro pwede rin yung mga taga-abroad, tapos ipapasa na lang nila yung number ng family nila.
Oh yeah, anyone anyone who's watching now, they can join yung sabi mo naka-member na dun sa COVID Warrior. Then kung ayaw nila yung load din ibigay nila sa labuan nila kasi Valentine's na.
Ayan guys, so Feli is giving away 100 worth of load which is unlimited. I think may mga ganun, may unlimited 1 week. So first question, ako magbibigay ng first question.
Tapos ako yung sasagot. Pag tama yung sagot.
Yes, sila ang sasagot. So guys, ready na kayo. Paunahan ng sagot guys ha. Okay, saan ang unang workplace ni, dapat daw 200. 200 each daw, request. Oh. May request. 200 each daw, oh. 200.
Hindi gawin na lang natin 10 para tagi-100 para marami.
Oh, ayan, 10 questions tayo. Bukas na tayo matatapos dito. Okay. 10 question. 10 people. Tagal naman. Ngayon ko lang naalala, mayroon pala ako nito. Ayan. So, first question. Saan ang unang workplace ni FELY as a nanny? Unahan, guys. Anyone can answer and then ipasa nyo yung number ng nasa mahal. Ipasa nyo yung number ng relative or friends nyo sa Philippines to FELY.
Basta yung nakuha ngayon, isusulat na lang ng admin yung pangalan tapos i-message nila kunin yung number na luludan. Ganon.
Ayan, Hong Kong. Tama ba ang sagot? Merong
Yes.
sumagot dito na Dubai, merong sumagot dito na Hong Kong.
Hong Kong yung nauna.
So, actually, dalawang sumagot ng Hong Kong from Loling Liraw. We have Babes Arceo. Pero nauna si Loreng. Galing mo yan parang dami mong panalo So, Loreng Liraw, please kindly send the phone number, a Philippine phone number para ma-loadan ni FELY. Ayan. Yes, ang dami mong prizes ngayon, Loreng. And of course, give chance sa others. Okay?
Sabihin mo dito sa load, hindi na siya pwedeng manalo kasi nanalo na siya ng load.
Ayan, give
Pag
chance sa
nanalo na
others.
yung isang beses, bigay na natin sa iba.
Okay, so hindi ka na pwedeng sumagot. In short.
Yes.
Hindi ka na pwedeng sumagot, Loreng. Okay? Sabi nito, ibig sabihin nanonood ako lawyer to dear. Of course naman, di ba? Love you too, Loreng. Ayan. Ayan, Loreng, hindi ka na pwedeng sumagot. Disqualified ka na. Next question. Anong question mo, FELY?
Ako ba mag-question? Akala ko ikaw.
Gusto mo mag-question? Ikaw bahala kung gusto mo mag-question. Ilista ko yung
Yung
mga...
mga question mo muna kasi
O sige. May second question.
maganda yan.
So, meron tayong isa ng nanalo. Kasi, ewan ko kung, Kuya Rodel, are you watching? Pakilista yung nanalo. So, si Loleng, okay, Loleng. Okay, ang second question ko is, ano ang pangalan ng anak ni FELY?
Dapat
Ayan.
full name with middle name.
Hindi natin binanggit yung buong pangalan niya. Kahit ang first name na, okay na. Ayan, ano ang pangalan ng anak ni FELY? So, nasa kalendaryo po ang pangalan niya. Ayan, sumagot na guys. Kasi 10 question to, abutin tayo ng umaga. Any guess, guys?
Ayan, may nanalo na si Marisa.
Member ba siya ng COVID Warriors?
Yes, nakita ko sa comment niya.
Hindi ko siya nakikita dito sa COVID Warriors. Wala. Marisa, are you a member? Wala. Marisa F. Descargar?
Yes. Baka hindi na-accept.
Actually, marami silang snow. April, kaso lang, April from... Si John Mark Dulay ang nauna dito sa COVID Warriors Corner.
Oh.
Okay.
John Mark Dulay, April ang sagot. April, John Mark Dulay.
O yung natalo, sunod na March ka na.
April ang pangalan, John Mark Dulay. Ayan, kindly send your phone number to me or to kay Fedor. So, inilista natin John Mark Dulay. Paramdam kayo guys yung mga nanalo
Linggo na, wala nang magpapaload.
Ha?
Lunes na yung mga load ng manalo kasi linggo na doon, sarado na yung loadan.
Ayan. So, John Mark Dulay, kindly message me for your phone number, please. Ayan, next question natin. Ano naman ang pangalan ng batang lalaki na inaalagaan ni FELY dito sa London? Nabanggit ko rin yung pangalan niya kanina several times. Ito siya, oh. Tapos ngayon, yan na siya with April. Anong pangalan ni? Yan. Anong pangalan niya? It starts with letter S. O, di ba? Kapangalan niya yung isang artista sa Pilipinas.
Napamangkin mo. Ang daming
Ayan. Guys, yung mga nanalo, wag na daw sumagot. Ayan. May nabasa ako dito. Actually, nag-comment siya sa... So we have Sam, Babesi Arceo.
Babes RCU, yeah.
Babes Arceo, you're the first one who answered it. Congratulations for winning a mobile load. Message me or si Feli na lang, kaya message mo kung kilala mo. Babes Arceo. Okay. Next question. Para maubos na tayo kasi 10 ba naman? Okay.
200, di kawawa yung ibang nagpuyat dyan. Bigyan nila natin ng chance.
Okay. Kaya nga bukas na tayo matatapos dito, mag-iisip pa ako ng tanong. Ganun. Okay. Nasaan ngayon si Feli? Saang bansa ngayon si Feli nagtatrabaho? Ayan. Nasaan kami, guys? Any answer?
O yung mga hindi nanalo dyan, bulungan mo na yung kapitbahay mo. Toy.
Kaya nga.
Bilis.
Okay, UK, hahaha. May sagot pang UK, hahaha. Sino to? Hindi pa lumalabas.
I think,
Hindi pwede sa April.
saka UK is not accepted.
O hindi na accepted yung UK part, yung talagang specific. Marisa Descargan. Ayan, Marisa Descargan, nanalo ka ng load.
Tama, dapat London Toink.
Hayaan mo na. Ayan, so London ang sagot. Tama. Sino to? Hello! Hindi ko nakikita yung name. Kanino kaya galing to? Can you put your name at the end of your comment? Hi! Teka, huhulaan ko kung kanino to. Marvin? Hindi ko makita yung pangalan.
Kumari mo daw.
Kaya nga, baka si Marvin Osocho from USA. Hula ko lang yon. Okay, next question. Mag-isip ka rin ng question kasi mauubusan ako 10 lahat. Okay, pangalawa, 5 ika-up, kaya lamang question is, saan nag-work yung second place kung saan siya nag-work? Di ba Hong Kong yung una? Ano yung second naman? Second place kung saan siya nag-work. Sino mga kasagot? Hong Kong, yung una. Of course, pangatlo niya is yung London. Nandito na siya ngayon. Ano naman yung pangalawa? Saang lugar? May sagot dito, Dubai, from Elvina Dalumbar Molo.
Yeah.
Siya yung una. Kilala mo itong mga to? Elvina Dalumbar Molo, you're a winner of a mobile load. So, message mo ako, nawawala yung listahan. So, Elvina.
Yeah, kaya ko dapat message yung mama ni ba? So, basta nanalo na, hindi na pwedeng sumagot, di ba?
Yung mga nanalo na give chance to others daw. Ayan. Alam mo, meron ba yung sagot dito, Korea daw? Hindi ka nanonood. Hindi ka nanood, no?
Actually, nagpunta ako.
Korea ang sagot. Dapat tama. May Korea, ganon, ang yung sa'yo.
Oh, may Korea kaso hindi nabanggit eh. Nagpunta ako ng Korea bago Dubai.
Nag-Korea din.
Yes.
Pero ang work is Hong Kong, Dubai,
Yeah.
and then Korea before London.
Korea din Dubai. Pero hindi
Baliktad.
lang matagal kasi sa Korea. So parang tourist lang doon.
I see. Okay. Hindi kwento. Kanino galing to? Hindi na kwento ang Korea. Ayan. So ano ang ika-anim na pa? May tanong ka, 6 question natin. Ikaw naman magtanong. Yung na-mention mo sa interview natin.
Doon sa interview, ano bang mga na-mention doon? Nalimutan ko naman.
ba yan? Okay, kung napanood nila yung...
Ito na lang, ilang taon na ngayon yung anak ko. Kung
Ayan.
kinuha ko siya dito sa London nung 16 years old siya, nandun yung conversation kanina kung ilang taon. So, ilang
Yun
taon?
naman. Year 2018. 18 years old si April nung dumating dito.
16.
Ano? 16.
2008.
16 years old siya nung dumating siya dito nung 2018.
Oh.
So, ilang taon na siya ngayon? O, di ba? May math question tayo. 16 years old dumating si April dito sa UK or sa London noong 2018. So, how old is April now? Okay, answer guys.
So, hindi pa siya nag-birthday ng 2021, so hindi pa counted yun.
18 daw. Pero parang hindi siya member ng COVID Warriors eh. Grabe. Hindi ka nanood, no? Mako Kalima, hindi ka nanood. 30 talaga. Alam mo yung sumagot ng 18, hindi siya member ng COVID Warriors Corner. Ito hindi siya member. Sorry. 19, sabi ni Marisa Descargar. Sabi ni Babes naman is 19. Sabi ni Josephine Descargar, 18. Anong tama doon?
18.
18. Ayan. Kaya nga panggulo lang. Panggulo lang talaga. 18.5 sabi ni Moleng. Tama naman kasi mag-2021 na, di ba?
Di ba
So, 18.5.
18 pa lang.
Ayan, pero 18. Ayan. So, ibigay natin kay Josephine Descargar. Ano-ano mo? Nakaano-ano to? Descargar. Saka si Marisa.
Magkapit bahay, toink.
Taga-Pangasinan, di ba? Taga-Pangasinan ka?
Yes.
Ayan.
Mga katrupang toink. Shout out yung mga nagpuyat na mga katoink.
Ayan. So, next na question mo. May question ka pa ba?
Next question dun sa conversation natin. Ano ba yung conversation doon kanina?
Bukas na talaga yung matatapos. Sana alas 6 na. Para tayong lapag lang dyan yung mga YouTube channel ninyo.
Ilang taon na ako dito sa London, Toink.
Nabanggit ba yan?
Yeah.
Okay, ilang taon na daw si Fely dito sa London. Ako hindi ko maalala kung naging discussion namin doon. Kami ang magkikay. Ilang taon na si Fely dito sa UK. Ayan. Hula-hula na lang guys. Bilisan natin at 6 o'clock na dito sa London. At mag-uumaga na yan sa Philippines. Sabi dito 10 years. Sabi ng isa 10. Pero sino ang nauna? Ilang years ka na ba dito sa London?
10 years, yes.
10? Pero hindi lumalabas sa COVID Warriors itong Facebook user na to. Parang nanalo si Loling. Si Loling lang talaga yung member na nag-answer ng kwan eh.
Siya yung nanonood kanina eh.
Oo, kasi ito, hindi siya member ng COVID Warriors Corner. Ito, hindi rin siya member ng COVID Warriors. Ang member lang ito, 10 months. Yun. 10 months.
Pero nanalo na siya, di ba?
Oo, nanalo na siya kanina, disqualified. Kung sino man itong dalawang to, mag-member na kayo guys, COVID Warriors Corner, para manalo. Ayan. Wala eh. Kasi wala rin nakalagay kung anong pangalan. Guys, magpunta kayo ng Facebook, hanapin yung COVID Warriors Corner para makasali kayo. Meron tayong 4 na tanong. So, nandito yan. COVID Warriors Corner. Kami ni Alilebang. Ano yan? Ay, kasi alas 6 na po.
Mga taga-Japan.
Sumagot na kayo. Okay. Wala kilala to, walang pangalan. Kasi hindi siya member. Kaganoon, pinag-aawi din, sabi ni Loling. Kaya nga pinag-aawi din. Wala talaga. Walang makakasagot. Ilang taon na dito si Feli. May nakasagot na 10, kaso lang hindi kayo member ng COVID Warriors Corner. But anyway,
Yung iba dyan na naka-member na yung ano,
ayan, meron dito si Babes Arsenio. Ay, nanalo na to, di ba?
nanalo na rin siya.
Nanalo ka na rin, Babes. Ibulong mo na lang sa katabi mo dyan para siya yung
Yung
sumagot.
account ng asawa mo, Toink.
Ayan, Miss Lucky Nila, sumagot ka na raw. Wala, nanalo na pong mga to si Marisa saka si Babes.
Gamitin nyo yung account ng mga anak nyo, Toink. Yung mga nanalo, pwede nyo gamitin yung account ng anak nyo.
I have a question, sabi ni April. Okay, wala. Sino yung Ali Bebang daw?
Si Ali Bibang, nasaan si Ali Bibang? Nasa Korea, nyo nga siya, Toink.
Guys, ilang taon na si Feli dito sa UK para matapos na tayo at makauwi na tayong lahat?
Hindi nga nakamember daw sa Warrior yung sumagot.
Dapat member kayo dito sa COVID Warriors Corner para manalo. Wala talaga.
Pwede pass mo na yon.
Teka, may mga kwen. Kasi yung mga admin natin, nawawala sila. Hindi sila nag-a-accept ng members. Ayan, approve na kita. Ayan, na-approve na yung isa. So, ayan, sagot na. Ilang taon na si Penny dito sa UK? Tama yung masagot kanina, kaso 2 years old. Ano yan?
Bagong gising, Toink.
How many years na nagtatrabaho dito sa UK si Feli? Tama yung 10 years, pero ang problema, hindi siya member ng COVID Warriors Corner. So, guys, come on. Okay, meron nga tayong nanalo. Devora Perez Pablo. So, Devora Perez Pablo, nanalo ka ng load. So, message mo lang yung number mo. Devora Pablo. Ayan. So, ang tanong daw ni April, ilang taon na yung nanay niya nung pumunta dito sa London? Ay, nung nag-abroad ba siya? Ilang taon ang nanay niya nung una siyang nag-abroad?
Nabanggit ba yan kanina?
Hindi. Kung na lang. Hula-hula.
Actually, ano na lang, yung taon kung pumunta ng Hong Kong nabanggit kanina eh.
Sige yung taon. Anong taon?
Sa Hong Kong.
Ayan, anong taon pumunta ng London? Anong London?
Si London, Toink.
Tuloy ako. Kung na lang, ano yun, hinuhulaan nila, 20 years old. 20 years old ka ba pumunta ng Hong Kong?
Hindi ko alam, 20 years old ako noon.
22. Kung na lang daw, anong year pumunta si Feli sa Hong Kong?
Yeah, yung year lang.
Yung year. Narinig ko, 96 ata yun, 1990.
Ibulong ko daw.
Yun na guys, para matapos na tayo dito.
Yung simula niya, 19.
28, 1996?
Yes, si Luling.
Kaya naman, di ba? Ang galing.
Nakikinig ka, hindi kasi nanood yung iba eh. Natulog muna bago nanood, kaya palpala.
Ibigay mo na kay Loleng para matapos na tayo. O, Loleng, 2 load. Bigay mo sa magkaibang tao, ha? Sa magkaibang tao, ibigay ang load. Okay, kanay na question.
Hindi nang sumagot yung mga nakasagot garud kasi pinagbigyan natin siya.
Wala. Pwede na po sumagot na sila para matapos sa Tower S. Bukas na tayo. Bukas na tayo matatapos.
Oh. Tapos, anong tanong ulit?
Next question. 2 na lang.
Umuwi ng Pilipinas.
Ano? Ilang beses?
Kailan ako huling umuwi sa Pilipinas?
Pinag ko ba?
Hulaan na, sabi mo hulaan na lang.
Ganito na lang kasi may pinakita akong video kanina. Sabi ng anak niya, every other years siya umuwi ng Pilipinas. Ayan. Is it every year, every other 2 years, every 3 years siya umuwi ng Philippines? Mga date yung sinasabi ko. December 22. December 2020. De, ano yung ilang beses umuwi si Feli noon para bisitahin ang anak niya? Is it every 1 year? Every 2 years? Every 3 years? Sabi, si Loleg talaga yung nakikinig talaga ng mabuti kanina. Okay, every 2 years. Sino to? Nagpa-pay attention talaga si Loleg eh. Hindi lumalabas dito sa COVID warriors. Sabi ni Marisa every year, mali. Si Deborah na naman 2 years. Bigyan na natin para matapos na tayo. So Deborah Pablo, ayan, nanalo ka ulit ng load. Now, last question na. Deborah Pablo. Last question. Ano ang buong pangalan ni Feli?
Ayun na, kompleto, pati middle name.
Kompleto pati middle name, saka yung last name. Okay?
Kung
Ayan
hindi
yung
mo
last
alam
name.
yung pangalan ko, tanungin nyo yung mama ko kasi magkapangalan kami.
Ayan guys. Ano ang buong pangalan ni Feli? O, nasabi na yung Feli. Andiyan lang ako, pero uhulaan niyo yung middle name niya, di ba? Parang sumagot na dito kanina.
Ayun na, Felicita Stasio Rodrigo.
Teka, hindi lumalab. Ayan, si Marisa. Bigay mo na rin. Para dalawa din yung phone niya. Yay! Okay, guys. Message niyo yung mga number niyo, ha?
Ayan,
So,
salamat. Hindi na silang matulog, mga katoink.
dalawang nanalo, dalawa kay Loling, dalawa kay Deborah, dalawa kay Marisa. And of course, we have John Mark Dulay, Babes Arceo, Elvina Molo, Josephine Descargar. Please message me your phone number for the load. Yay! Thank you so much. And ano yung mga social media mo, Feli, para ma-follow ka nila?
Social media ko, hindi ko na alam eh. Sa London Toink, yung Facebook, kailangan ko ng watch hour. Sana i-play nyo yung playlist ng London Toink. Ayun. Tapos yung Instagram, Fely Rodrigo. Sa Twitter, Fely Rodrigo. Doon sa Yipi, may Yipi mo na ba kayo? Mag-Yipi kayo, London Toink. Yan.
And of course, do you have any message to the frontliners?
To all frontliners, thank you for what you've done for everybody, and then keep safe, everyone. You make sure you have to take care also yourself, and always drink your vitamin C. Yeah.
Yan. And may message ka rin ba sa kapwa mo nani out there na nanonood sa atin ngayon?
To all nannies, ay na sana we need to spread the love. You know, if you're working as a nanny, you have to love the children that you look after, because at the end of the day, they will remember that. It's different if you look after the granny. When the grannies die, they will forget you. But if you look after the baby, when they grow up, they always remember you. Yes, so you have to
Yes.
love them as their own children.
Yeah, that's true. Ayan. Thank you so much, Feli, for your time. And of course, sa mga pamigay mong load para sa kababayan natin na nanonood ngayon. Thank you so much and stay safe. God bless and thank you, April, for the video as well. Bye!
Thank you. Take care also.
Thank you!
Thank you sa pa-birthday. Thank
Ay, ay, isoli mo yan. Ganun din. Biglang ka, isoli mo yan. Alright. See ya. Yeah, thank you so much. God bless and advance happy birthday. Bye. Ayan po yung day natin ngayon. Masyadong haba talaga ng araw natin ngayon mula kay Joker Diva. So, I would like to shout out, of course, sa mga nanonood ngayon. Babes Arceo, April, Becky P, Marisa Descargar. Sabi to shout out daw sa, basa ko kanina dito, natapa shout out. Sana ba? Ayan, shout out sa family ko out there in London. Perez family and of course Kasuga family. And sabi dito ni Lale. Sabi, congratulations, Ella, and then of course, great show and good day. Talagang great show and good day sa'yo, dami mong pinanalunan ngayon. Di ba? Di ba sa prizes? Love, love, love. And of course, may mga pinadala na silang phone number. Shout out sa team, Toy. And of course, we have happy birthday, Penny. And ayan. So, maraming salamat po guys. And I would like also to tell everyone, kasi ang iniisip ng mga tao sa Philippines, na lahat ng mga pumupunta sa abroad ay maraming pera at mayayaman. Hindi po ganun ang situation. Hindi lahat po ng nasa abroad ay mayaman at hindi lahat ng nasa abroad ay mapera. So, you have to understand guys that we're here abroad, that we're working so hard for our family back home para matulungan sila. And sa mga nasa family naman dyan sa Philippines, don't take advantage na, ay, andun yung kapatid ko, andun yung anak ko, or andun yung magulang ko, pabili nga ako ng ganito, pabili ng ganyan. Di ba? May mga ganyang family, di ba? I mean, bato-bato sa langit ang tama na huwag magalit. But I'm so lucky for my family that they don't really ask, or they don't really, hindi nila ako ina-ask na mag-comply ka, di ba? Mag-comply ka sa batas, magpadala ka. No. So I'm thankful for my family for being supportive as well. And ayan guys, isipin nyo guys, ang pagiging OFW hindi madali. Lalo-lalo na po yung mga naglilinis, yung mga of course, lahat po ng trabaho abroad, it's difficult. I'm a nurse in UK, mahirap din po yan. Natry ko lang maglinis isang araw. Hindi ko kinaya, ang hirap. Mag-nanny, hindi ko pa naman natry. Pero nag-alaga ng anak ng kaibigan, di ba? Pero lahat po ng trabaho dito sa abroad, pinaghihirapan talaga. So please don't take advantage of your family who works abroad. You have to pray for them for their safety and of course support them. Support them emotionally and of course psychologically. Ayan, pagdasal natin sila. And of course, yeah, sure, I'll check it. Ayan, thank you so much for my guest for today. I'm so honored to have, of course, the British photo journalist Caroline Irby, who published her book, which is dedicated to her nanny, Judy, in Cebu. Please do buy someone else mother. Maganda po yung laman ng story na to. Saka magaganda yung mga photos sa loob. Very interesting. Ayan. So actually, I tried communicating with the family to ask sana a special video for Carol, but sitson lang ako. So, but anyway, pero thank you sa nagpadala ng video kay Chris from Dubai and of course, from April for her mom. Thank you so much. And please continue to support our show here in COVID Warriors Corner. Every Saturday, we have Joker Deep at 12. And kinuha ko lang po yung slot ni Cathy Alberto ng Request Corner because I'm working long day tomorrow. And we have tomorrow, guys, with Chef Ela Atay. And of course, Request Corner ni Cathy, nagpalit kami. So, siya yung Sunday tomorrow. And I won't be having any show next week kasi po may date po ako sa may date ako sa hospital with my consultant specialist. So, I'm gonna undergo a medical examination and medical procedure. So, sayang, wala akong Valentine's show. But anyway, I hope you enjoy your Valentine's Day next week. Mag-enjoy po kayo sa show ni Joker Diva. May inahanda po siyang napakagandang show for Valentine's Day. And of course, for the rest of the crew. Maraming salamat. Please continue to support COVID Warriors by our bags, our hoodie, and of course, upcoming po yung t-shirt natin. Ayan. So, for my last song, last song pa ba ako? Okay, my last song is, I'm gonna sing this song guys for everyone. I hope that you will like it. Overtime tayo. Ayan, nawala ako. But anyway, I'm gonna sing this song for everyone, guys. This is my song na iiwan sa inyo. Have a great week. Have a great Sunday and have a great week ahead of us. This song is for everyone. hear the music. Thank you, Chloe and Feli and Martha. You will always be a special part of me. You will always be special. I'll always cherish wonderful moments you have me. You are in my heart, ever sa lahat ng mga naling nag-alaga ng mga anak ng iba, I'm sure nasa puso kayo ng mga alaga nyo. All the times we share will always be songs my heart will sing, refreshing melodies. I'll put together all of your laughter, glad music. I'll remember you wherever yes, guys, do follow me on YouTube, Ela Hidalgo TV, IG Hidalgo underscore Ella, Facebook Ela Hidalgo, and have a page as well. Thank you so much, and follow COVID Wars Corner in Facebook. God bless everyone, and have a good evening here in London. Bye.